Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 14 of 28 Days of Love. Happy Valentine's Day, or as I'm going to call it, Happy Love Yourself and Everyone Else Day. I hope your week is going well. I'm curious to know how some of you are feeling about yesterday's video and the whole concept of consciousness and awareness, and are they the same, are they different? I'm not sure how that sat with you, but what was interesting for me was this morning, as I got up and was thinking about how deep that was yesterday, I pulled a card again from my new favorite deck, The Soul's Journey. And I had to chuckle because the card that I pulled is this one. And it says doubt, and it says, I release the need to know all of the answers, which is very fitting for yesterday, as there was this kind of need almost to understand, well, what is consciousness and what is awareness? And so I read the interpretation in the book, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, it is impossible for the human brain to comprehend the mysteries of the universe. You are only consciously aware of the three dimensions for a reason, and that is to learn to love with the full awareness of your connection to spirit. Everyone has his or her own personal path to this awareness, and there is no right or wrong answer as long as your goal is to manifest the energy of love and compassion. The wisdom of the divine trickles into the physical dimension, and some of it will resonate with your soul and some will not. These are your signposts that guide you to your correct path. If the wisdom resonates with you and seems right, then keep it. If not, release it back to the universe. Always be aware and mindful of the insights that your spirit guides and teachers put on your path. So maybe that's the universe giving us the answer, right? Telling us that it is whatever it is to each of us, and there is no right, no wrong. Anyway, I thought that was very fitting again. And something else that was really cool that I didn't even notice, maybe some of you did, but maybe some of you didn't, and one of you lovelies did point it out to me, and I thank you for that. But if you didn't notice, go back and have a look at day 12. The video for day 12 was exactly 12 minutes and 12 seconds long. So again, more and more little synchronicities popping up along the way. All right, let's get into today's good stuff. So today we're going to talk about connection. We have been focusing so much on coming in and removing ourselves from the fear and the distractions. And we want to keep doing that, but at the same time, we also have to remember that connection is a very significant need of all of ours, right? It fits under Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. And I'll put that in the email as well. But we all have the need to feel safe, the need to belong, right? The need to connect and to be heard and to be loved. And so connection is something that I think we're starting to lose a little bit, not completely, but when I think back to maybe 30 years ago and I look at connection between people and I look at it now, I feel like there's such a huge difference, right? I think back to when I was a kid and, there was block parent and you had so much trust for everybody in your neighborhood and, compassion to help your neighbors. And I'm not saying we don't have that anymore, but we certainly don't have it like we used to. I think many of us don't even know our neighbors, or I can think, certain things that just really make me feel sad, like seeing in our old neighborhood where there was, we lived in duplexes, and it was very clear that one of the families on whatever side clearly made a dividing line down the middle of the driveway because it was a shared driveway, and just took bricks and made this divider, and it just, I thought, wow, to have that much resistance against your neighbor. And I think when we were in a duplex and, we had a shared driveway with our neighbors, we'd shovel the whole driveway at times, ours and theirs, and vice versa. And I just think how, sad that we have to put this wall up between our own neighbors. And then I think about technology, right? And how times have changed. And I'm not saying it's bad. It would be very difficult for me to do this 28 days of love without you, without technology and all these amazing tools. But the important thing is to not get so wrapped up in technology that we lose that physical interaction, right? That connection piece. And I think about, the youth and children today. And it's tough as parents because with the economy, both parents have to work. And, there was a time when, mom or dad could stay home and not have to work and spend that time nurturing and raising the children. And it's so hard to do that nowadays because we just, need to survive in this economy. And I think what happens often is, we just keep our kids so busy with whether it's sports or activities and technology. And I'm not saying that, the sports and the activities is bad, but I think we got to be careful not to overstimulate our children, our youth, and also to make sure that we're having that quality one-on-one connection time, right? I remember driving one day and seeing, pulling up at a red light and just kind of glancing over and seeing a woman in the back seat of a vehicle kind of holding her phone up and just kind of looking around. I thought, well, that's kind of weird, but whatever. And then I looked again, and then I saw this little tiny hand pop up, and I realized that she was amusing her infant child with her iPhone. And I get it as a parent, like sometimes we can't be there 24/7. We have a hard time just having a few moments to ourselves. But I think sometimes maybe too much time is spent, amusing our children, our youth with things like iPads and iPhones. And our youth are starving for connection. I saw it, within our family, with my son for sure over the years. And, it can really lead to a lot of other more serious problems if that connection becomes less and less and less, right? And there's some really interesting articles and videos, I'll try and include some in the email, that talk about addictions and how addiction is a lack of connection, right? We have this need to connect to people. And when that need's not being met, we look for it wherever we can get it, right? And whether that is, to drugs or alcohol or shopping or Facebook or whatever, it becomes an addiction. It fills that void rather than trying to fill that void the way we really need it. We substitute it with all these other things. And so as much as it's important to really come inside and figure out who we are, what we want, what we desire, do all that work to find that inner peace, it's also important to stay connected and to build relationships and to belong and be a part of community, to support others and to have others support us, right? And that is so empowering. Physical touch is so important to many people, right? There's a great book, The 5 Love Languages, and it talks about, everybody has a different love language, and for some people it's touch, and some people it's, it's compliments, and for some it's, oh my gosh, I got to read it again. But just, there's different ways that people communicate, or, with giving and receiving. And so we need to be able to connect in order to meet those needs, whether it's for ourselves or to help others to have those needs met. And one of my two of my favorite things to talk about with this and to suggest to people is around hugging and sending love, right? And we do this all the time. You know, when we find out someone's sick or, you know, someone's lost a loved one, they've passed away, we always say, oh, we're sending prayers, we're sending love, all that stuff, right? And there's amazing, amazing heart energy. Maybe we'll talk about heart energy over the 28 days. But intention is so strong, and especially heart energy. And we know energy moves and it's transferred. And so we really can send love and send positive energy and all of that stuff to people, right? We've kind of talked about it even with the whole connection on you think of someone and they call, right? Or we've seen it even in just these last 14 days where many of you have said, I just said that quote to my husband and the next day you talked about it, or I bought this book and the next day you recommended it, you know. So I always teach in some of my workshops about doing the Care Bear stare. I don't know if you remember the Care Bears, but they would just stand there and just like send that beam of love, of light, whatever, out to you know, the world. And I just always imagine that, and especially when people are needing that, to just Care Bear stare, right? I say that to my kids all the time. You know, when they're kind of struggling, even I just send them a message and I'm Care Bear staring the shit out of love to you right now, right? And they kind of go, oh mom, but you know, and they kind of chuckle, but people feel that and they respond to that. And the other thing is hugs. And in one of the workshops that I teach, I actually strongly encourage people to do the awkward hug, right? And many of us are huggers, some people aren't. And if you're not, that's okay, right? I would say maybe, you know, do some digging around what is the reason, you know, that you don't feel comfortable with hugs, and maybe that's something you can work on clearing. But many of us are huggers and we do the quick little kind of hug. But I always encourage people to do the awkward hug. So go in for that hug and stay there. Stay there through the whole awkwardness until it starts to feel like, oh, this is kind of nice, right? And it does feel good. And I have a few friends, one in particular, I just love her. She is the most amazing hugger ever. And she just, she goes in for the hug and you stay past the awkward point. And even when you're like, okay, yeah, okay, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep doing this. But it feels so good. And, you know, it really meets those needs that sometimes we don't even realize that we're missing. And so that's going to be part of your homework, is to, you know, when you're hugging someone, go through that awkwardness and lengthen that hug and really feel the energy that is exchanged during that time. And the other thing is to connect with people, right? And especially people we don't know. And this is something, you know, I think we can sometimes kind of put our blinders on, especially when we're out. You know, we're busy, we're distracted, and sometimes we purposely don't make eye contact with people. But we've all had that experience where, you know, a smile can go a long way, can just change someone's day. A compliment. You know, the pay it forward, we see it, you know, every now and then someone pays for the coffee at the Tim Hortons drive-thru for the person behind them. And, you know, that just creates such a ripple effect. And it starts that energy of connection. And it's not only, you know, going outwards, but it is also such a huge benefit for you as well. It's another way to kind of fill that cup and meet your needs too. Because really, we also really want to be of service. And that's, you know, whether it's volunteering or just doing that simple little thing. The more we can do that, the more we start to feel that sense of belonging, that sense of community. And we feel more supported, and then we help others to feel more supported as well. So I hope that makes sense. And I don't know if you notice that as well with, the times changing. I just really feel like we've lost part of it. Not completely, but I just feel like we don't have that sense of community and connection like we used to. And again, technology, it's wonderful. We need to learn to use it. We need to keep growing with the times. Rather than resisting, we have to continue to flow with it. But we have to remember to have that balance and still be able to meet all of those needs, right? And I'm not suggesting that you have to go out there and hug everybody. Sometimes there's just certain environments or certain people that we're just not ready to interact with, and that's okay. That is okay. We still want to do the work on ourselves, but we also want to be connectors and relationship builders. So that is your homework for today, those awkward hugs, and start to connect. Do those little bits of service, the random acts of kindness, even if it's just a smile, and try to connect somehow that way with, a couple of people that you don't know, and just see how that feels for you. And maybe you notice it's a little bit empowering as well. I'll include, again, a few more quotes and links into the email. And at the bottom of the email, I have a special Valentine's gift for you that you can check out. And then you can contact me if you want to follow up with that. So again, today, remember, love yourself, love everybody else. It doesn't matter if you are in a relationship, an intimate relationship, or not in an intimate relationship. I know sometimes this can be a struggle. I went through this for a long time. I think between my previous husband and my now husband, I was single for about 7 or 8 years there, and I hated Valentine's Day, right? I hated it, hated seeing all these couples, but that's because I was so deeply in a place of fear. I was living life unconsciously and thinking that I needed, someone to be happy. And that is so untrue for all of us, right? If we can't be happy alone, how can we be happy with anybody else? And if we can't love ourselves, how can we expect anybody else to love us? So as much as it's wonderful and beautiful to have another person to, share that intimacy or just, quality time together, we can also have that connection with ourselves, with friends, right? So try to not get really hung up on, I hate Valentine's Day because I'm alone. I get it. I've definitely been there. And, bring that inwards. And remember, what we create inside, we attract to us too. So, maybe you've been blocking that love from coming into your life. So make that shift, and you might just be surprised what beautiful, loving relationship falls into your lap. All right, so have a wonderful day of love. Have some chocolate because it's good too. And keep doing the work. Check out the special gift I have for you at the bottom. And I'm also working on a date to bring us all together, as many of us as possible, for a little celebration, recognition of all the work we're doing. So hopefully I'll have some information for you by the end of the week. I look forward to another day with you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Bye.